Welcome, everybody. This is a daily yoga practice for me. I wanted to share it with you all. Let's jump right in. We're going to start in a seat, but a little bit different today. I want your feet to be at a 45-degree angle from your knees, rolling your shoulders back, sitting up tall, taking your palms to your side here. Funny how such a simple pose can really start to do so much. If this is too much for you to sit like this, I want you to think about rolling your shoulders back, interlacing your fingers behind your hamstrings, taking a deep inhale, chin towards the ceiling, exhale, chin tucks towards your chest. We're going to bring your head closer towards your knees, and then maybe grasp opposite forearms with your palms here, whatever feels good to you. So maybe you'll start to notice, even if your head doesn't touch your knees, that with each inhale, your head raises, and with each exhale, you sink in a bit more here. So as you settle in, as we move through our practice, I want you to remember to take maybe 3 to 5 full cycles of breath in every single pose. And I really want you to focus on your breath, breathing into these areas that we're working on here. So enjoy 2 more full cycles of breath here. Maybe you notice your head lifts up with each inhale, and with each exhale, maybe you can drop down even farther. So at your own pace, maybe enjoy 1 more full cycle of breath as we start to settle into our practice. Hang out here as long as you'd like, but if you're ready, I want you to base down into your palms, frame the outside edges of your hips. I want you to roll your shoulders back, sit up tall. We're going to extend our left leg out long, bring your right knee into your belly. We're going to take our left forearm across the front of our right shin, right palm behind your right glute, and twist towards the right. So we're not twisting all the way back. We're just twisting towards the right here. And again, sitting up tall, trying to keep your spine in line here, rather your shoulders stacked on top of your hips as you enjoy a couple of breaths. There's always variations and modifications, but for now, we're just starting really slow. So once again, 3 to 5 full cycles of breath here as you take your time. Once you feel like you've gotten there, I want you to allow your right knee to drop down. I want your right foot to come to the inside edge of your left thigh. Your left palm comes behind your left glute as you sit up tall. Inhale, right palm up and overhead to the outside edge of your left quad, knee, calf, or foot. And as you settle in here, I want you really to focus on keeping your right knee closer towards the earth, and maybe thinking about elongating where your grip is as time goes on. And the most important thing you can do here is find full, deep cycles of breath. So as you start to settle into your practice, maybe you'll feel this start to engage on your lower back, your QL, all kinds of muscles to start to open up on that lower back side here. Maybe you feel a bit of a hamstring stretch on your left leg as well. Making sure that we get 3 to 5 full cycles of breath once again, maybe chin to chest, head to knee. Your choice here. When you feel like you've had enough, when you feel like you've really pushed through 3 full cycles of breath here, I want you to stack your shoulders back on top of your hips. Same exact thing here. So I want you to think about shifting your left hip a bit more forward. You'll notice that this is the same stretch, just a little bit modified. So left palm behind your left glute, right palm up and overhead to come to the outside edge of your left leg. Once again, actively trying to keep our right knee as close as you can towards the earth, and make sure that you breathe. So as you settle into this pose here, once again, maybe you're focusing on internal, external rotation with your left leg, feeling some hamstring. Maybe if you have some lower back stuff, your lower back on the right side is already starting to do some work. So once again, full deep cycles of breath here into whatever area you're working on the most. When you feel like you've had your 3 to 5 breaths, I want you to stack your shoulders back on top of your hips. I want you to take your hips back in line with each other if they're not already. We're going to just go straight over our left leg this time. So arms up and overhead as we deep inhale. Exhale, we're going to forward fold over our left leg here. Hips should be in line. Again, we're going to focus on keeping our right knee close to the earth here. Maybe chin to chest, head to knee. Your choice as you settle in to a little bit of breath. I know that this can be a lot, but we're just getting started. So I want you to challenge yourself, but not overexert yourself. I want you to give yourself a chance to settle into your practice. You chose to sit down, to turn this video on. You got this. It's a daily commitment to your health. Once you've had your breaths, I want you to stack your shoulders back up on top of your hips. We're going to bring our right knee into our belly. I want you to heel toe your right foot out and see if it's okay if you can start to drop your right knee down and come onto the top of your right foot here. So from the front, it'll look something like this, hurdler's pose. A lot of times people will not keep their knees in line with each other. So we want our left knee and our right knee in line as we work into this hurdler's shape. I want you to see if you can take your arms up and overhead. Take a deep inhale and maybe just bring your elbows to the top of your thighs. If you need a little bit more, you can start to bring your elbows in between your thighs. So as we're checking in with a few cycles of breath, I want you to just settle in here. Maybe again, internal, external rotation with your left foot if that feels okay. We're just working into this hurdler's pose. So once again, our toes aren't turned out here. We're going to be on the top of our foot. So many things. Remember that this is your practice. You get to explore and experiment. So once you've had about 3 to 5 breaths here, I want you to inhale, take your arms up and overhead. We're going to extend and forward fold over our left leg this time. So maybe a little bit easier on this side in the hurdler's shape to just come right over your left leg. Whatever feels good to you. Chin to chest, head to knee. Maybe you're just trying to get your belly a little bit closer towards your thigh today. Whatever this looks like for you. Now, as we move on, I want you to take your left heel closer towards your right knee. So we're going to look like we're in this kind of 45 shape, 45 rather. I want you to think about coming down to your left elbow. Maybe you just hang right here as we work into the front of our right hip flexor. If you need a little bit more, I encourage you to very slowly start to extend your elbow, maybe lower your left shoulder down towards the earth and see if you can touch both shoulder blades. You get to experiment here with stillness, or if you find a little bit of movement, you can start to articulate your right hip flexor here. Remember, this is your practice. If you're new to yoga, if you're a beginner, maybe you're still just on your elbow. If that's too much, maybe you're at 45-degree angles here, just trying to explore some of this movement. So wherever you're at, I want you to take 2 more full cycles of breath. Deep inhale and a long exhale. Let's enjoy one more full cycle of breath here. Deep inhale and a long exhale. Now, if you've got both shoulder blades towards the earth, I want you to roll onto your left shoulder. I want you to see if you can base up onto your right palm, get back to your left elbow. Now, this one can be a little tricky. You're welcome to try it. If this is too much, I want you to just go back to 45 and explore there. But we're going to start to roll our torso back through center. And if it feels okay to you, I want you to thread your right wrist underneath your left wrist and see if you can bring your right shoulder a bit closer towards the earth. This can be a very intense twist. So if this is too much to start, back off. Just go back to 45. If you have this dialed, if this feels good in your practice, maybe eventually starting to bring your head a bit closer towards the earth, maybe extending your left arm. Really just encouraging you to experiment and explore here and breathing deep into all of these muscles in this twist. Let's take one more full cycle of breath here. When you're ready, I want you to base back into your left palm if you're in this twist so that you can start to elevate yourself here. Now, 45, I want you to extend your right leg, bring your left knee into your belly. Same exact thing on the opposite side here. So left knee is into our belly. We're sitting up tall. We're going to take our left palm behind your left glute and take your right forearm across the front of your left shin and just twist towards the left. So if you're leaning back here, we're going to try to sit up tall. And again, we're not twisting all the way, just twisting towards the left. You can experiment with what's going on with your right leg, maybe internal, external rotation, or maybe you just settle in with your breath. Let's enjoy one more full cycle of breath here. I want you to take a big inhale, fill up your belly, and even longer exhale as you empty out all of the air in your lungs and in your belly. When you're ready, we'll drop down our left knee, left foot to the inside edge of our right thigh here. Right palm comes behind our right glute. Left palm up and overhead. Take your left palm to the outside edge of your right quad, knee, calf, or foot. And once again, you know your body best. You know where you are in your own practice here. So as we settle in, once again, I want you to think left knee as close to the earth as you possibly can. Maybe trying to find this deep side stretch, elongating your left shoulder from your left hip. That's really what we're looking for here. We're working into quadratus lumborum, all these long muscles on the side of our body here. Let's enjoy 2 more full cycles of breath on this side. Remember that this is your practice. You get to explore, you get to experiment. Remember, whatever you do, I want you to really focus on your breath today in your practice. Whenever you're ready, I want you to release your grip. Slowly stack your shoulders back on top of your hips. Same thing on this side, same exact pose. I just want you to shift your right hip a bit forward if you can. Same exact thing here. So right palm comes behind our right glute, left palm up and overhead to the outside edge of our left quad, knee, calf, or foot. Trying maybe to bring chin to chest, head to knee eventually, or wherever you're at today. Maybe just trying to bring your belly a little bit closer towards your thigh. Whatever you do, make sure that you breathe. How are we doing? What's coming up for you? Are you setting an intention for your practice today? I hope that you're doing great. Whenever you're ready, I want you to release your grip. Stack your shoulders back on top of your hips. Keep your left hip back in line with your right hip. Same exact thing this time, but we're just going to fold right over our right leg. So inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale as we fold over our right leg. Once again, maybe just trying to bring your belly a little bit closer. Maybe chin to chest, head to knee eventually. Maybe you can bring your elbows down towards the earth and start to walk your palms up closer towards your foot. Once again, actively keeping our left knee as close as you can down towards the earth. Let's find 2 cycles of breath here. Big, long, deep inhales into our belly, and even longer exhales. Great job, everybody. I'm going to stack our shoulders back on top of our hips. I want you to bring your left knee into your belly this time. We're going to heel toe our left foot out. And if it feels okay, we're going to drop our left knee down towards the earth, coming to the top of our left foot. So our toes aren't pointed out. We're going to come to the top of our left foot, if that feels okay to you. So from the back, it almost looks like we're turning our toe in a bit. Again, not like this. So once we work into our hurdler shape, I want you to keep your knees in line with each other. Make sure one's not in front of or behind the other. We're going to take our arms up and overhead. Deep inhale. Exhale. Maybe your elbows just rest on the top of your thighs. That's totally fine. Maybe if you need a little bit more, your elbows can come in between your knees. Once again, focusing on our right leg, maybe right toes coming back towards your face, internal, external rotation, whatever you need. Maybe your chin and chest get a bit closer towards your forearms. Making sure to check in with our full cycles of breath here. Let's find one more full cycle of breath here. Enjoy a full belly breath. Deep inhale, filling up our belly. And a long exhale. When you're ready, we're going to stack our shoulders back on top of our hips. Deep inhale, arms up and overhead. Same exact thing, just directly over our right leg this time. So bringing our belly a little bit closer towards our right thigh, chin to chest, head to knee maybe. You get to choose how deep you go into this. 2 more full cycles of breath here. Maybe asking yourself what's coming up. Maybe trying to control your emotions or your breath. Trying to surrender and enjoy our practice here. Let's stack our shoulders back on top of our hips. This time, our right heel meets our left knee. So we're back in this 45-45 shape. Remember, once again, to keep your foot stacked underneath, your toe turned back in, or rather inside ankle bone is high. I want you to think about maybe finding some fluid movement here, or you can start to find a static shape. So same exact thing on the opposite side here. Maybe we're just dropping down to our right elbow and starting to enjoy this opening in the front of our left hip flexor. Maybe if you need a little bit more, your right elbow starts to extend out. You start to come to the back of your right shoulder blade, start to bring your left shoulder blade down towards the earth as well. This one can be very intense, so I want you to make sure that you gradually work into this. If you know that it's something that you need, maybe explore and experiment, never overexerting yourself, but always challenging yourself. Let's find 2 more full cycles of breath here. Great job so far, everyone. Getting started, making a daily commitment to your practice. When you're ready to exit, I want you to roll onto the outside edge of your right shoulder, start to base into the left palm. I want you to start to lift up so that you can get back to your right elbow. We're going to come back through center line. Once again, maybe just hang out in that 45-45 and start to sway back and forth. If you'd like the twist, I want you to think about taking your left palm underneath your right palm, starting to drop down to your left shoulder, if that feels okay. This is a bit of an awkward twist. This might be new to a lot of us. I want you to drop the left side of your head down towards the earth if that feels okay. Maybe eventually extending your right palm out long. Maybe noticing the difference on either side here. Taking a few full cycles of breath. Maybe as you inhale, your head lifts. And as you exhale, maybe it drops down even more. Great job, guys. Let's enjoy this twist or this 45-45 sway for another 2 full cycles of breath here. When you're ready, we're going to start to base back up onto our palms. Now, check it out. We're in this 45-45 angle. I want you to see how it feels if you can take both of your feet out in front of you. Then you can take either leg back. I'm going to start with my right leg, come to the top of my right foot. I'm going to shift more of my weight. My right hip comes to the top of my right ankle. We're going to take our left foot underneath as well, back into this hero shape. If this is too much, at any point you can find maybe a block or a pillow to sit on. From here, I want you to extend your right leg. We're going to work into our half split shape here. So our left hip is stacked on top of our left knee. I want your right leg extended. I want you to think right leg up and back, or excuse me, right hip up and back, left hip forward. So we're going to take our right toes, either internal or external rotation maybe. Maybe you're just trying to get your belly a bit closer towards your thighs today, framing the outside edges of your right knee. Maybe find blocks or books, pillows, whatever you have at the house. Maybe finding some rotation, maybe finding some stillness, maybe trying to elongate your spine, bring your belly closer, chin to chest, head to knee eventually. Whatever feels good to you. I want you to enjoy 2 more full cycles of breath here. Excellent job, everyone. Again, finding movement or stillness, this is totally up to you. This is your practice. This is your body. You know what you need. Maybe eventually finding more stillness. Let's take 1 more breath here. Deep inhale and a long exhale. Now, I want you to either hang out in your half split shape or framing the outside edges of our right knee. I want you to engage every muscle in your right leg, point your right toes, engage your right quad, knee, calf, or foot. rounding into your upper back, tucking your hips underneath, and seeing if you can just barely lift your right heel up and off the earth. Again, if you have blocks or books, this is going to help a lot. I want you to hold and lift for 3, hold and lift for 2, lift even higher, drop your right heel down. Now your option to hang out in half split shape, or if you'd like to extend into your version of a full split, whatever that looks like for you. Trying to keep your hips in line with each other. Once again, right hip up and back, left hip forward. We're going to work deep into our hamstrings on our right leg and into the front of our left hip flexor on the opposite side here. So this can be quite a lot, but I want you to enjoy another breath. One deep inhale and a long exhale. As we exhale, we're going to slide our right heel back. I want you to stack your left hip back on top of your left knee. Listen carefully. Left toes move towards the right side of the room. Right toes move towards the left side of the room. We're going to take our left palm forward, up and back to the outside edge of our left knee, and our right palm comes up and overhead. So this is like a knee down wild thing shape here. This is what it looks like from the front. I want you to think about if you're crunched over here, sending your hips forward, opening up, maybe even taking a gaze towards the back wall here. Really, what we're looking for is finding a long line from our right heel to our right hip. To our right palm. I want you to think about moving your right shoulder away from your right hip and breathing into this. 2 full cycles of breath here. When you're ready, I want you to take your right palm down to meet your left palm. Right palm moves through our center line to meet our right toes. We're going to bend back into our right knee. Shifting into our low lunge shape here. I want you to think about right knee stacked on top of your right ankle. Think about pulling your right heel back, sending your left knee forward here. Right away, I want you to bring your right palm forward, up and back, and we're going to twist towards the right side of the room. So pulling your right heel back, pushing your left knee forward is really going to help you here. Work into this twist. You can take any variation or mod that you need. Maybe right palm moves closer towards your right calf. Your left palm can come up and overhead. Whatever you do, make sure that you're breathing. Great job so far, everyone. Maybe in this twist, you're just using your left palm to help you twist. Now we're twisted towards the right. I want you to take palms together at heart center, move back to the front, then I want you to shift towards the left. This one can be much easier. So as we shift into this open shape, maybe it's a bit easier to bring your left palm to your left calf, right palm up and overhead into this gentle warrior shape. 2 breaths here. I want you to stack your shoulders on top of your hips. Take your left palm to the inside edge of your right foot. And I want you to see if you can take your left ankle closer towards your left glute. See if you can reach back with your right palm. We're going to start to open our chest up towards the ceiling, and maybe you find some small pulses, bringing your left hip a bit closer towards your left palm if that feels okay. Working into this hip flexor stretch. This is a great stretch for the couch. You can just put your ankle onto the top of the couch and start to lean up, working into our hip flexor here on the left side. Awesome, guys. Breathing into this. Maybe allowing your right knee to track out to the outside edge of your right foot, if that feels okay. Maybe bringing your left heel even closer. Let's enjoy 2 more breaths here. Awesome. Release the top of your left foot down. And I want you to send your hips back if it feels okay. And sit your left left glute on top of your left heel as we extend our right leg, maybe chin to chest, head to knee. You know your body best. You know what feels good. Awesome, guys. Enjoying a breath here. Whenever you're ready, I want you to tuck your right foot underneath your right glute. Same exact thing on the opposite side. So we extend our left leg. I want you to base up onto your right knee, working into our half split shape on this side once again. So left hip moves up and back. Right hip moves forward. Maybe internal, external rotation with our left leg. Maybe once again, belly gets closer towards our thigh. I want you to start your breathing now. Maybe chin to chest, head to knee. Boy, does he talk a lot. I really want you to check in once again with your breath here. We hold most of our tension in our shoulders and our hips. And for most of us, our hamstrings can be very, very tight. So wherever you are in your practice, I want you to think about bringing your belly closer towards your thigh, chin to chest, head to knee maybe. Let's find 2 more full cycles of breath on this side. Awesome, guys. 1 more full cycle of breath. We're going to start to base up. Our chest stacks on top of our left knee here. I want you to frame the outside edges of your left knee with your palms or your fingertips. Maybe find blocks or books, something to prop your palms up. Extend your left toe, engage your left quad, glute, hamstring, round into your upper back, tuck your hips underneath, and see if you can just lift your left heel up off the earth. For 3, lift higher. 2, lift even higher. Slowly drop your left heel down. Your choice to stay in this half split shape, or if you need a bit more, I want you to start to extend into your version of a full split, whatever that looks like for you. Awesome. Working into our hamstrings on the left side, working into the front of our right hip flexor here. Awesome, guys. 2 more full cycles of breath. When you're ready, we're going to shift our left heel back into this half split shape. Same exact thing on this side. So I want you to bend into your left knee, work into our low lunge shape here. Again, we're going to think pulling our left heel back, pushing our right knee forward without actually doing anything. We're going to kind of pinch the earth in between us here. We're going to go left palm forward, up and back as we twist towards the left side of the room. So once again, maybe you take your right palm to the top of your left quad here. Whoops, almost fell. Maybe to help you open up, or maybe you're using the strength of your obliques to help you twist towards the left. Maybe take your left palm to your right calf, take your right palm up and overhead. This one can be very intense. This might be hard to balance, so think about pinching that mat or the earth like we talked about. Let's take a few cycles of deep breath here. Awesome, everybody. When you're ready, stack your shoulders back on top of your hips. I want you to twist towards the right here. Maybe taking your right palm to your right calf and finding a gentle warrior. This is what it looks like from the opposite side. This one's a bit easier, so maybe you guys find this one a little bit more accessible. Trying to keep your hips in line once again. So much to pay attention to. Hope you didn't forget to breathe. Maybe trying to shift your breath from your mouth to all nasal breath. When you're ready, let's stack our shoulders back on top of our hips. Same thing on this side. Right palm comes to the inside edge of our left palm. Right heel comes closer to our left, or right heel comes closer to our right glute. Wow. I want you to think about bringing your right hip closer towards your right palm, working into our right hip flexor. Maybe thinking about opening your chest up towards the ceiling. Maybe your left knee tracks to the outside edge of your left foot here. Thanks for bearing with me, trying to get all these words out of my mouth. If you've made it this far, super proud of you. Thanks for watching. Working into the front of your right hip flexor for another 2 full cycles of breath here. Maybe finding movement, maybe finding stillness. And when you're ready, I want you to drop your right foot down towards the earth. We're going to bring our right glute as close to your right heel as you possibly can. If this is too much for you, just skip it. Maybe hang out in a full forward fold. If this is okay, I want you to think about chin to chest, head to knee, maybe stretching into our left hamstring, internal, external rotation, whatever feels good to you here. Amazing job so far, guys. We've got a few more sections, so stick with me here. You're doing great. Next pose, I want you to shift to your left glute so that you can take your right leg all the way around. Now we're going to take our heels as far away from each other as we possibly can. I want you to think about basing behind both of your glutes and see if you can try to bring your hips just a little bit closer here. We're going to work into our pancake shape or wide-legged forward fold, whatever you'd like to call it. I want you to think about rolling your shoulders back and sitting up tall. Maybe just getting your palms underneath your knees is a massive win today. Maybe this is what your forward fold looks like. If you need a little bit more, I want you to think about slowly rolling your shoulders back and bringing your belly closer towards the earth. Maybe just getting your palms down is huge. Maybe getting to your elbows, or maybe finding a spot on the mat, your carpet, wherever you're at, taking your arms up and overhead with a deep inhale and actively reaching as far as you possibly can. Maybe trying to bring your forehead down, finding movement or stillness here. I've heard a lot of different things. You can read yourself till you're blue in the face on the internet nowadays, but legs can be engaged, legs can be soft, whatever feels good to you. I want you to start to lean forward and work into this pancake for just another moment or two here. I know this can be a lot. Checking in with your pancake. You feel like you've had enough, hang out there as long as you'd like. Maybe you start to bring your left elbow to the inside edge of your left thigh and start to bring your right palm up and overhead, elongating into the right side of our body here. If it's accessible to you, I want you to take your right palm to the outside edge of your left knee, left quad, or really what we want is to grab the bottom of our left foot. And I want you to think about actively opening your chest up towards the ceiling here. This one can be a lot, but again, we're just working into our right side body. Maybe you're feeling this on the front of your left hip flexor. If your right glute is starting to lift up, I want you to shift a little bit more weight into your right glute. And whatever you do, breathe. Great job so far, everybody. One more breath on this side, even if it just looks like this. Great job. Same exact thing on the opposite side. So right palm comes up. I want you to take your right elbow to the inside edge of your right quad, finding a grip on your right leg with your left palm anywhere that feels good. If you look like this and you're looking down towards the earth, I want you to see if you can just actively start to think about opening your chest up towards the ceiling here. Really stretching into our left side body once again. Checking in with your breath. One more breath on this side. Full inhale. A long exhale. Awesome. When you're ready, we'll release our grip. Stack your shoulders back on top of your hips. Bonus points. If you take your palms to the inside edges of your quads, point both of your toes, engage your glutes, quads, hamstrings, and see if you can start to find some pulses. Work into your hip flexors. I'm going to do 20 of these, so you can do at least one or two. Awesome. If you haven't had enough, try to find some circles rotating backwards. Maybe find some circles rotating forward. Your choice. You can hang out and do these as long as you'd like. Check back in with them. When you're ready, bend into both of your knees. Take your soles of your feet together. I want you to find a nice long diamond shape in between. So if you can bring your hips or your heels closer towards your hips, great. But for today, I want to find a little bit of space. I want you to roll your shoulders back, sit up tall, take a deep inhale, Kick your chin towards the ceiling. As you exhale, I want you to think about actively pushing your elbows into the inside edges of your quads and actively using the strength of your legs to bring your knees closer down towards the mat as well. So we're going to lean forward, gaze just past our toes. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, lean forward. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, lean forward. This time we're going to hold. Once again, using the strength of your legs to pull your knees down and the strength of your elbows to push as well. Trying to roll your shoulders back, gaze just past your toes, maybe as if you're looking into a pond, like Derek Zoolander. Who am I? Stole that from Adrienne, one of my favorite videos, Yoga with Adrienne. Check her out too on YouTube. When you're ready, I want you to stack your shoulders back on top of your hips. Bring your knees into your belly. We're going to extend our legs out long. I want you to think about taking your right palm to the inside edge of your left thigh. As you do this, your left palm comes behind you, up and overhead with a deep inhale. Left palm comes to the outside edge of your right leg, wherever it feels comfortable. Same exact thing on the other side. So right palm comes behind you, left palm is to the inside edge of your right leg, left palm up and overhead to the outside edge of your quad, knee, calf, or foot. So as you move through these fluid movements, I want you to work with your breath. Big inhales as your arms come up and overhead. We're going to look for 3 to 5 reps on either side as we work through these swimmer shapes here. Awesome, guys. Stick with me. Big inhales as our arms come up and overhead. Big long exhales as we dip down. So, wherever you're at, if you have more than 3 to 5, I want you to continue on for just a moment. Check in with your breath. Where is this sitting with you? Where are you feeling this the most? In your side body, in your lower back, in your hamstrings, upper back? Where is it? Address it. Speak with it. When you're ready, when you feel balanced out, I want you to stack your shoulders back on top of your hips, arms up and overhead. Deep inhale, find an exhale into our forward fold. Now, once again, maybe your forward fold just looks like getting your belly a bit closer towards your thighs today. Maybe this is your forward fold. Enjoy it. Try to bring your toes back towards your face. Maybe you start to get a bit closer. Maybe your elbows move down towards the earth. If you can grip your feet, I want you to see if you can grip your feet and bring your elbows down. I want you to think 75% max effort of this fold is into your lower back, into your hamstrings, 25% max effort in your palms here. So maybe chin to chest, head to knee, or if you prefer, trying to bring your toes back towards your face and trying to bring your head a bit closer towards your toes. Whatever feels good to you here. Enjoy it. I want you to collect your breath. When you're ready, we're going to sit up tall, shoulders stack on top of our hips. I want you to take your palms behind your glutes and see if you can bring both of your heels as close to your hips as possible. And if it feels okay, maybe lift your hips and step one palm through or the other, or however you need to get there. We're going to meet in a squat shape. So, trying to keep our heels just about shoulder width distance apart, hip width distance apart. If it's a little bit farther, that's totally okay. 45-degree angle here, palms together in between our knees, really working into our yogi squat. Maybe you start here. I want you to think about bringing your hips closer towards your heels, rolling your shoulders back, and sitting up even taller here. Awesome, guys. So explore with this. If that yogi squat's a bit too much, you can always maybe extend your stance even more. Drop your left knee down, lift your left heel, maybe rock back and forth into this froggy squat. There's so much. Maybe you go fist width distance apart and you find your primal squat here, trying to keep your inside ankle bones high, trying to see if you can get your heels down towards the earth. You'll feel this in your lower back, I promise you. So wherever you are, checking in with our squat for another 3, 2, deep inhale and exhale if you haven't already. 1, I want you to base down into your palms, send your hips up. I want you to enjoy a forward fold. So maybe there's a small bend in your knees if you need that. Maybe you're grasping opposite elbow, letting your head hang naturally, finding what feels good for you. Maybe taking your palms underneath your feet. If you do this, make sure you don't trip yourself and fall on your face. That would be embarrassing, wouldn't it? When you're at home alone doing yoga, checking in with our forward fold. When you're ready, I want you to base down into your palms, and we're going to walk, step, or jump our feet back to a plank position. I want you to think shoulders in front of your wrists, drop down halfway or all the way, chaturanga. Inhale, come to the tops of both feet, roll your shoulders back, take your crown towards the ceiling, up dog. Exhale, pushing through all the way to a down dog and coming to the balls of our feet, working into our first down dog shape of the day. So I want you to think about pushing your shoulders as far away from your wrists as you possibly can, ears in line with your bicep. Try to find a small arch in your lower back. Most of the weight underneath the pad of your thumb and your first finger. From here, I want you to lower your knees down. I want you to come to a neutral tabletop position. Maybe start to work through some cat-cows. If you know these, you're welcome to inhale. Exhale, tuck underneath. If you're working with me, I want you to think about neutral spine. Take your tailbone up towards the ceiling and vertebrae by vertebrae, dropping your belly button down. Shoulder blades move together. Inhale as you raise your crown. Exhale, keep everything where it's at. Tuck your chin into your chest. Start to round into your upper back. Move through the middle of your thoracic spine. Tuck your hips underneath. Push into your palms, your knees, and the tops of your feet. One more time. I want you to keep everything where it's at. Start to bring your tailbone up towards the ceiling, vertebrae by vertebrae, dropping your belly down, bringing your shoulder blades together. Inhale, raise your crown all the way up and overhead. Exhale, come back through neutral. We're going to work through some wrist warm-ups. So I want you to make sure that your palms are spread wide, fingertips. I want you to think about wrists stacked underneath your shoulders. The closer that your knees are, the easier this will be. The farther away they are, the more stretch you'll get into your wrists. So start to take your shoulders over towards the left, in front of your wrists, towards the right, behind them. We're going to work for about 3 to 5 clockwise circles. And once we do that, I want you to shift into counterclockwise circles here, trying to just balance out either side here. Awesome, guys. Checking in with your wrist health, finding what feels good. Awesome. Once you feel like you've balanced out, I want you to take your fingertips towards the left and right. We're going to start shifting into this sagittal plane, maybe left and right, finding what feels good. You can start to bring your shoulders in front of your wrists, behind your wrists. You know your body best. You might hear some synovial fluid cracking and popping. That's totally normal. That's totally okay. Know that you can always back off, bring your knees closer if you need to. Just warming up into our wrists here. Maybe taking your fingertips back towards your knees, facing the base of your palms forward. Really trying to not let the base of our palms lift up here. Finding some pulses. Now, once again, if you need a little bit more, you can start to find some circles here. Full circles, clockwise direction for about 3 to 5. Same deal the other way here. Just warming up into our wrists. Now the last one, I want you to come back to a neutral tabletop position and then come to the back of your palms. Maybe you start with one and try to elongate your elbow, straighten out your elbows. If you can jump in to both of them right away, I challenge you to do so, but this one can be very intense. There's guys on Instagram and YouTube that will handstand like this, believe it or not. It's wild. So wherever you are, just knowing where you're at today, working into this. Let's hold for another 3, 2, Awesome. Come back to neutral tabletop position here. Now, I want you to bring your knees together, bring your big toes together so that your heels fall away from each other. Bring your hips closer towards your heels. Find a block or a pillow again if you need. Interlace your fingers and just very gently starting to find a little bit of articulation here, maybe back and forth. Taking it easy on our wrists here. We're warming these bad boys up. Now, my left index finger is on top. I just want you to switch. Take your right index finger on top, or vice versa, whatever you had. Just working into our wrist for just a moment, kind of taking all of the weight and pressure off of our wrists for just a second. Maybe you're flicking the water off the ends of your fingertips. Maybe you're just shaking out your wrist unilaterally by themselves. Maybe you're working on your dance moves for this weekend. I don't know. Whatever you do. When you're ready, we're going to come back to a neutral tabletop position here. And I want you to slowly start to hover your knees up off the earth, tucking our toes underneath. I want you to push your shoulders as far away from your wrists as you possibly can, bringing your belly closer towards your thighs, finding a small arch in your lower back, keeping your ears in line with your biceps, and then maybe starting to just pedal out either one of your legs, whatever feels good here. I want you to challenge yourself here. See how long you can hang out in down dog before you give yourself a rest. When you're ready, I want you to lift your right leg. I want you to bend into your right knee, stack the hips so your right hip stacks on top of your left hip. We're going to enjoy this for just a breath. We're going to replace our right foot. Same exact thing with our left leg. Lift your left knee, your left leg completely. Bend into your left knee. Stack your left hip on top of your right hip. Working into this single leg down dog. Now listen carefully. We're going to bring our left knee into our belly. Stack your shoulders on top of your hips. Step your left foot to the outside edge of your left palm. And if it feels okay, I want you to see if you can turn both your toes, both sets of your toes towards the right, and we're going to work into your version of a wide angled forward fold here. So maybe you need a little bit more, maybe you need a little bit less. You get to choose how far you go into this. Now this next part can be a little bit much, so maybe you're just working on your wide angle forward fold. If you want to stick with me, maybe walk your stance a bit closer. I want you to bring your left hip closer towards your left heel. Your right heel, or your right toes rather, lift up towards the ceiling, palms together at heart center. This is Skandasana shape. So if you'd like to work through the Cossack squat with me, we're going to extend, push into our left foot. We're going to shift our right toes towards the front of the room rather, bending into our right knee, shifting into this high crescent lunge shape here, really strong in our back leg. We're going to enjoy this deep lunge. If you are a knees over toes guy, I encourage it. Do whatever feels good in your own body. I want you to think about shifting towards the left, moving more weight into your right heel, bringing your right glute towards your right heel, left toes lift up towards the ceiling, palms together at heart center, pushing into our right heel, shifting into this lunge over on the left side. Once again, right knee strong. Maybe you're shifting into this deeper knees over toes squat. I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit here. So right heel drops down, right toes lift up. Maybe we're shifting back and forth for a few. I'm going to find 5 reps on either side. So maybe you're just exploring this Cossack squat rotation. Any part of it is fine. Maybe you're experimenting with Skandasana, whatever feels good to you. Remember, you know your body best, and I want you to challenge yourself, but not overexert yourself. Awesome. I think that's 3 on either side. That's 4 with my right knee in the front. 4 with my left knee in front. We're going to go 5. And once you drop into this crescent lunge, I want you to lower your left knee down. Maybe find a block. I want you to come to the outside edge of your right hip with your right palm. Left palm comes up and overhead. Maybe you drop down to your base knuckles or all the way down. Again, find a block or some books from the side. This is what this looks like. Awesome, guys. Keep it up here for another 3, 2. Stack your shoulders back up on top of your hips. Now, we're back in this deep lunge. Bonus points. If you come to the ball of your foot, lift your knee, shift back through Skandasana towards the other side, dropping your left knee down, coming up and over, finding this side angle shape. Awesome, everybody. Full deep cycles of breath here. So we're elongating into the right side of our body. Great job, guys. Right palm up and overhead. Stack your shoulders on top of your hips. Come to the ball of your foot. Lift your right knee. Once again, shifting back through Skandasana. I want you to come back through our wide angled forward fold. And if it feels okay, I want you to walk your palms forward. Come up onto the balls of your feet. See if you can walk the balls of your feet back to a plank position. Shoulders in front of our wrists. Drop down halfway or all the way, chaturanga. Tops of both feet. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, pushing through all the way to a down dog. Awesome job, everybody. Stick with me here. Last little bit of work. So, very slowly, I want you to stack your shoulders on top of your wrists. We're going to lower all the way down towards the earth. Now, I want you to extend your right arm out long. I'm going to think about lowering the right side of my head down. I'm going to lift my left leg, bend into the left knee. Start to roll onto the outside edge of the right side of your body. Left palm is going to be in front of your nose. And take the sole of your left foot to the outside edge of what would be the outside edge of the right side of your yoga mat, if I was using one, or if you're using one. Awesome. This is what it looks like from this side. Stay where you're at. Enjoy working into the front of your right shoulder here. Maybe rolling your right shoulder forward, rolling your right shoulder back. Unthreading the needle here. Let's enjoy 2 more full cycles of breath. Excellent. I want you to roll back onto your belly. Same exact thing on the opposite side. So left arm extends. We're going to lower the left side of our head down. Right palm in front of our nose. Bending into our right knee. Rolling onto the outside edge of the left side of your body. Unthreading the needle on this opposite side here. Great job, everyone. Again, maybe rolling your left shoulder forward or back. There's many mods or variations here, so if you're an experienced yogi, feel free. Checking in with your breath. Really enjoying this opening in the front of your left shoulder here. One more breath. Awesome. Let's roll back onto our belly. Now, I want you to think about taking your arms up and overhead, taking your fingertips as far forward as you possibly can. I want you to see if you can tent your fingers. So we're going to come to our fingertips and lift the back of your wrist as far as you possibly can. I want you to think about rolling your shoulders back and very slowly, maybe walking your fingertips back like Mr. Thing or whatever it is from the Addams Family. Working into a comfortable back bend for you. So maybe just here, whatever feels good. Maybe this is all you need in a back bend. Maybe you want to bring your heels closer towards the back of your head. Maybe eventually you need a bit more. You take your palms in line with your chest, roll your shoulders back, send your chest forward, opening up, bringing your heels closer towards the back of your head. Now, wherever you're at, we're going to shift, stack your hips on top of your knees, sending your arms forward, working into a puppy pose here. So maybe bringing your forehead down towards the earth. Maybe you're thinking chin and chest closer towards the earth and taking a gaze in between your thumbs. You get to choose. You know what feels good in your body here. want you to enjoy a few breaths. We're almost there, guys. One last little section. When you're ready, I want you to push into your palms, base back up into a neutral tabletop position. Whenever you're ready, we're going to sit our hips over to either side, take our legs out long. Now, I want you to think about rolling into a ball, taking your knees into your belly, enjoying this, finding what this feels like for you, maybe grasping opposite elbows. Eventually, maybe you can think about bringing your hips closer down towards the earth. If this feels good to you, just hang out right here. Maybe you're finding small circles into your hips, into your ankles, finding small circles onto your lower back even. Whatever feels good for you. If you have a plow practice, maybe you start to take your palms to your hips, working through a shoulder stand, or eventually maybe shifting right into a plow pose. Maybe getting out of the way of your couch. If you're in this plow, maybe interlace your fingers at your lower back. Start to bring your wrists a little bit closer down towards the earth. Tuck your chin to your chest. Excellent job, guys. Now, wherever you're at, maybe you stay here and enjoy for a moment, but I want you to bend into your left knee, point your left toes, and as you roll down, I want you to interlace your fingers onto the back of your right calf, extending your left leg out long. Now, actively thinking about bringing your right toes back towards your face. I want you to start to engage every single muscle on your right leg, quad, knee, calf, foot, so that whenever we release our grip, you can try to keep your right foot exactly where it's at. This is a lot of work into the front hip flexor here. We're going to hold for 3, 2, 1. Bring your left heel as close as you can to your glute. Take the outside edge of your right ankle to the top of your left quad here, base down into your palms, and I want you to see if you can send your hips up. See how it feels. I want you to think about pulling your right knee back down towards the earth, maybe pushing into your left toes towards the top of what your yoga mat would be so that it forces you to lift your hips and your chest moves a little bit closer towards your chin. Let's hold for 3, 2, very slowly. We're going to lower our hips all the way back down towards the earth. Listen carefully. Hover your left foot up off the earth, and I want you to bring your left knee closer towards your chest without the help of your palms here. So this can feel like a lot of work crunching into our lower belly here. Let's hold for 3, 2. I want you to interlace both of your fingers behind your left hamstring here so that you can actively use your arms to pull your left knee in a little bit closer. I want you to take your right elbow to push into the inside edge of your right quad, pushing your right knee away. Should feel this on the outside edge of your right hip. Awesome, guys. Let's enjoy for another 3, 2. Whenever you're ready, I want you to see if you can kick your right heel up off the top of your left quad, extending your right leg, taking a grip with your fingers interlaced behind your left calf this time. Maybe taking your left toes back towards your face. Excellent job. Rolling your shoulders back, enjoying this hamstring stretch on the left side, maybe internal, external rotation. Starting to engage every muscle on our left leg, glute, quad, hamstring, calf, so that when we release our grip, once again, same thing on this side. Really enjoying this for another 3, 2. Bringing your right heel even closer towards your right glute, taking the outside edge of the left ankle to the top of your right quad, basing down into your palms, sending your hips up. Again, actively thinking about pushing into your right toes away from the top of your mat so that it forces you to lift your hips up and bring your chest a little bit closer towards your chin here. Let's hold for 3, 2, left knee down towards the earth. 1, very slowly lowering our hips down. I want you to immediately start to hover your right foot up off the mat. I want you to crunch, bring your right knee in. This should feel like work in your lower belly. Let's hold for 3, 2, Let's interlace both of your fingers behind your right hamstring, actively pulling your right knee in a bit closer here. This should feel like we're really digging into the outside edge of our left glute. And some good work here. Let's take 2 more full cycles of breath. Awesome. Whenever you're ready, guys, we're going to lower the sole of our right foot down towards the earth. I want you to take a grip onto the outside edge of our left foot. Bring your left knee in a bit closer towards your left ribs. If it feels okay, maybe extending your right leg out long. Working into this half happy baby shape. If that's too much, you can keep your right knee bent. I want you to shift more weight into the right side of your body if your right glute or right side is lifting at all. Maybe trying to challenge yourself and see how close you can get your left knee towards your left ribs or left armpit here. Now I want you to bring your right knee into your belly. Take a grip on the outside edge of your right foot as well. So we're working into this neutral happy baby. A lot of times our hips like to lift up. I want you to ground down into your hips. Maybe you notice that your left knee has kind of pulled away a little bit more now that we're in this full happy baby shape. Whenever you're ready, I want you to release the grip on your left foot, extend your left leg, see if you can bring your right knee in closer towards your right ribs just a bit here. Awesome, guys. Enjoying this half happy baby shape with an extended leg, or maybe your left knee is still bent. Let's take 1 more breath. Deep inhale and a long exhale. Now, left heel comes closer towards our left glute. I want you to cross your right leg over your left leg. So the back of your right hamstring comes to the top of your left quad. This can be an intense twist here. So if this is too much for you, maybe you extend your left leg and just continue to take your right knee across. If you'd like to have the legs cross twist, we're going to lift our hips up, take your hips over towards the right, maybe an inch or two, drop your right knee down towards the left side of what would be your yoga mat. I want you to extend your right arm out long and take a gaze over your right arm. Really enjoying this twist. Maybe you notice that your knee touches down and your shoulder doesn't, or maybe your shoulder touches and your knee doesn't, but I want you to work in either direction. Let it be where it's at today. Find a few cycles of deep breath. In this twist, we start to work into our stabilizer muscles, these muscles that hold us up all day long. If you have lower back pain, this one's really helped me along over the years. Now, when you're ready to exit, I want you to think about taking your gaze up towards the ceiling. I want you to find the sole of your left foot so that you can take both of your knees back up. Maybe lift your hips, take your hips back through the center line. Same exact thing. I want you to just unravel your legs. Take your left leg over your right leg so the back of your left hamstring meets the top of your right quad. We're going to lift our hips up. Take your hips over to the right just a bit here. Remembering, you can extend your right leg and just take your left knee over if that feels okay. Or if this twist is too much, rather. So maybe crossing your legs over, dropping your left knee over towards what would be the right side of your yoga mat, extending your left arm out long, and taking a gaze over your left arm. Now, once again, I encourage you to breathe. Try to let go of whatever you're holding on to here. Really just settling into this twist. Trying to enjoy, trying to breathe deep into these areas that don't get much attention. 2 more breaths on this side. Deep inhale. And a long exhale. And maybe you realize that you'll never get to where you want to be unless you want to be where you are. When you're ready, Take your gaze back up towards the ceiling, knees back up towards the ceiling to find the sole of your right foot, lifting your hips back up, centering your hips back out. I want you to unravel your legs. Take your knees into your belly this time. I want you to take both of your knees over towards the left side of the yoga mat, extending your right arm out long, taking a gaze over your right arm, maybe just working into this knee stack twist. If you need a little bit more, I want you to extend your right leg, take a grip on the outside edge of your right quad, knee, calf, or foot. And as you do, maybe actively thinking about taking your right hip away from your right ribs. It's kind of hard to see, but it looks something like this. Enjoying this twist once again on this side. I really want you to challenge yourself and find a few full cycles of breath here. When you're ready, we're going to bend back into our right knee. I want you to take your knees back through center line. We're going to take our knees over towards the right this time. Left arm extends. Same exact thing. Knees are stacked. I want you to find a grip on the outside edge of your left quad, knee, calf, or foot. Kind of hard to show from this side. Actively thinking about taking your left hip away from your left ribs. Really just settling into some breath here. Awesome, you guys. When you're ready, I want you to bend back into your left knee. I want you to take your gaze and your knees back up towards the ceiling. I want you to extend your legs out long. Maybe take your arms up and overhead. Find a deep inhale. If your couch is in the way, maybe just bend your elbows. As you exhale, take your palms to your side. Maybe roll your shoulders underneath. Find a safe space for your hips. Palms up. Rather, whatever feels good to you. As we settle into our final pose of our practice, the most important pose. As you check in with your breath, I want you to have a conversation with your mind. I want you to say, hey mind, thank you for all that you do, all the meetings, all the plans. But for right now, I'd like to just focus on my breath. So as you settle in even deeper, I encourage you to soften your gaze, to find the moments in between your thoughts, maybe to raise the corners of your mouth. For as long as you can manage, I encourage you to take a moment to just be. Maybe pause the video and take as long as you need here. When you've finished, extend your legs, point your toes, engage your quads, palms up and overhead. Find a full body stretch. Deep inhale as you exhale, knees into your belly. You can roll over onto either side. Take as long as you want there. But when you're ready, we'll meet in a seat. So as we take our final breath together today, I want you to take a deep breath, take your arms up and overhead. Palms together through heart center, where we live in unconditional self-love and self-acceptance. Encouraging you to soften your gaze or to raise the corners of your mouth as often as you can today. Thank you all for allowing me to learn, share, and grow with you. Sending all my peace and love as always. Namaste.